Buenas tardes a todos. Vamos a dar inicio al segundo concurso EUGLOT 3-Minute PhD Pitch. Es algo similar al concurso más habitual que hacemos de tesis en 3 minutos. No le podemos dar ese nombre por un problema de copyright de una de las universidades organizadoras, pero el funcionamiento es exactamente el mismo. Bienvenidos a esta segunda edición que organizan las universidades de Alcalá, la Maximilians de Múnich y la Universidad de Porto, en Portugal, y en la que participan las nueve universidades de la Alianza EUGLOT. El objetivo es plantear a las y los estudiantes de doctorado el reto de explicar su trabajo de investigación en inglés mediante un lenguaje sencillo e inteligible para el gran público durante un tiempo limitado de 3 minutos. El concurso consta de 2 fases, la que estamos hoy, que es un concurso en cada una de las 9 universidades participantes, en la que se seleccionan 2 representantes para la fase final. A diferencia de tesis en 3 minutos, la que hacemos en castellano, en este caso no hay ramas de conocimiento, se seleccionan 2 personas indistintamente de la rama de conocimiento. Y la segunda fase, que es la final del concurso, con los 18 candidatos o candidatas de las 9 universidades integrantes de la Alianza, se celebrará este año aquí, el año pasado fue en Oporto, el próximo año será en Múnich. Se celebra en Alcalá este año entre los días 17 y 19 de septiembre. En esos días, el concurso es el día 18, pero hay actividades previstas para que interactúen los distintos representantes de las universidades en actividades tanto lúdicas como académicas. Las normas del concurso, algunos ya las conocéis porque os habéis presentado a la fase en castellano. Las y los participantes disponen de 3 minutos para presentar su tema de investigación, objetivos, problemas identificados, qué piensan para resolver esos problemas. Y durante esta exposición solo se puede utilizar como elemento de apoyo la proyección de una diapositiva estática. No está permitida la interacción con el público asistente que implique diálogo activo. Sí que pueden hacerse preguntas retóricas a las cuales no se espera respuesta, pero no plantear ese diálogo activo. Y no se podrá actuar desde el atril. Por lo tanto, la intervención la vais a realizar justo delante de esta mesa, de esta tarde. La vais a realizar con un micrófono que tenéis aquí. El micrófono está encendido, ¿de acuerdo? Nada más tenéis que cogerlo. Cuando lo cojáis y veáis que la diapositiva es la vuestra, me daréis el OK. Yo pondré en funcionamiento el cronómetro, que lo vais a tener ahí, lo vais a estar viendo. Cuando faltan 30 segundos empieza un poco intermitente para que sepáis que vais ya ahí, que estáis... No tenéis que acabar en 2 minutos y medio. Lo ideal es que os acercáis mucho a 3, que no acabéis en 2, ¿de acuerdo? De manera que empezará a estar intermitente, no os pongáis nerviosos, os quedan 30 segundos, que es mucho todavía, es una sexta parte del tiempo que tenéis. Y eso sí, cuando llegue a los 3 minutos pegará el pitido. Si pega el pitido y no habéis terminado, quedáis automáticamente descalificados. El jurado está compuesto por el doctor Francisco Manuel Sáez de Adana Herrero, que es catedrático en nuestra universidad en Ciencias de la Computación e Inteligencia Artificial, la doctora Mercedes Díez Prados, titular de esta universidad en Filología Moderna, don Juan José Becerra, que es el director de comunicación de nuestra universidad, y la doctora Silvia Moreno Pinilla, que es contratada a Atracción Talento en el Departamento de Química Orgánica y Química Inorgánica. Los criterios que tiene el jurado para valoraros es la comprensión y contenido, la claridad con que actúáis, coherencia, pertinencia de los objetivos y los resultados, el uso de un lenguaje apropiado, los datos ilustrativos que pongáis también en la diapositiva. En segundo lugar, también el compromiso y la comunicación, el interés que creéis por el tema que estáis comentando, el entusiasmo que transmitáis, la capacidad de mantener la atención del público, entre otras cosas. Hoy os presentáis 8 doctorandas y doctorandos. Es nuestra segunda edición y esperamos que pues para el año que viene se anime más gente todavía. El año pasado fueron 6, este 8. Esperemos ir dando saltos. Si son de 2 en 2, pues bueno, pero si son de más en más, será más adecuado todavía. La intervención se realizará siguiendo el orden establecido por un sorteo realizado en la escuela de doctorado que comenzaba con la letra M, pero hemos hecho un cambio de último momento para que empiece con la letra L, por un motivo de problemas personales logísticos, ¿de acuerdo? Ya he comentado cómo va a ser, nombraré al participante, yo voy a estar ahí abajo con el cronómetro, nombraré al participante, una vez que estéis aquí arriba, verificáis que la diapositiva que está puesta es la vuestra, me hacéis una señal, empezamos el cronómetro y tenéis el tiempo. Repito, llegáis, cogéis el micrófono, verificáis la diapositiva y cuando me digáis empezamos con el tiempo. Así que sin más vamos a comenzar con el concurso. Belén Joffre.
Está todo bien, la diapositiva y todo. All right. How many of you have ever bought something from IKEA, or IKEA, as we call it in Spain? I'm sure many of you have. So imagine that you buy this amazing shelf and you find out that the instructions are in Swedish or in a language that you don't understand. Let me now tell you a story of a young man that came to Spain from outside Europe, and he had to go to the emergency room because he was suffering from a kidney failure. The surprise was that they gave him the receipt of the services, and he thought that he had come to Spain for a public or universal healthcare service, right? So he was on a tourist visa, he had no insurance, he tried to call his parents for help, but they wouldn't answer. So he found himself trying to navigate a healthcare system that he don't understand and the language of which he did not speak. So he was trying to build this furniture without having the instructions in the proper languages. I am Belén Llopis Pérez. I'm a PhD modern language researcher. And what I'm trying to do is to ask a simple question. Are we offering equal access to healthcare? There is this study in Brussels that was conducted in the Observatory of Healthcare that proved that migrant patients, especially undocumented ones, don't access healthcare services as much as they should. Why? Because they don't have the information for it. They don't know whom to ask. So finally, then they don't claim their rights because they are scared that they might be deported or simply put in jail. So there is this legal framework in Europe and in Spain that entitles everyone the right to information. But how can one have this right preserved if you don't understand the language in which this information is provided? This is the issue that many patients face when trying to access healthcare here in Spain. There is actually a very powerful case in court that it was about a woman that signed an informed consent form about a tube ligation. However, she didn't understand what was going to happen because she didn't know the language of the document. So she had this surgery performed against her will. What I'm trying to do here is to find out about the stories of these people trying to access healthcare, who provides information, how their cultural behaviors and understandings intertwine with the Spanish ones. Because it's not only about leaving a door open to healthcare, it's about letting people know that the door is open for them, help them walk through it, and of course feel welcome once they are inside. This way I will be able to find out if this right is being preserved or not. And in this way they will be able to build the furniture in the right language. Thank you.
Correcto. You have probably heard that drinking a small amount of wine with meals is good for your health. Well, this claim is backed by scientific evidence, so red wines contain polyphenol, which are compounds highly beneficial to health. My name is Ines Sobrino, and my PhD focuses on the study of the possible therapeutic uses of these polyphenols in innovative structure. Polyphenols are powerful antioxidant agents present in plants. They give of wine its flavor, the vanilla sense, the freshness of mint, and the purple colors of some fruits and vegetables, like black and blueberries. Our cells oxidize over time due to bad habits, pollution, or stress. Polyphenols avoid this effect by preventing cellular aging and promote tissue regeneration. In other words, we will be more beautiful and healthy thanks to these compounds. Our goal is to use these natural products as therapeutic vehicles to the drug deliveries, improving the effectiveness of treatments. In my research group, we are specialized in the synthesis of dendritic systems, which are polymer carefully built monomer by monomer. Inspired by nature, they grow like a tree. In my work, we want these polyphenols to be the building blocks of this structure, so that when this structure broke down by biodegradation inside of the body, a lot of antioxidant effect is released. We have modified polyphenols to contain positive charges to transport genetic material. We have also been successful in coating nanoparticles with these polyphenols to carry chemotherapeutic and antibiotic agents. Using nanoparticles, we can target the treatment only in the diseased cells, avoid healthy cells, and minimize side effects. Furthermore, since these nanoparticles remain to coated with these polyphenols, they continue to give the antioxidant effect on the organ responsible of eliminating the treatment, such as the liver and kidneys, thereby promoting the patient recovery. Like a pieces of puzzles, polyphenols form a promising structure, and her modification allows us a great versatility. There are an excellent tools that nature has given us. So let's talk to the potential therapeutic future of these polyphenols. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I start with a couple of questions. Are you a potential candidate for the job market? Or do you have the necessary skills for a specific job role? Or even what are the necessary skills for a specific job roles that the job market demands? Or even are training courses and training programs at universities in alignment with the job market demand? Did you know that more than $8 billion every year is spent on reskilling and upskilling? We are here to answer these types of questions, but this time not with manual analysis, with the help of AI, text mining, and natural language processing techniques. Of course, we will be working on big data. Our data comes from different sources, which is actually textual data. Skills frameworks like DigComp, ECF, ESCO, or online job advertisements like Ovate, which contains more than 8 million online job advertisements, and training courses which are available at universities, Coursera, and other platforms. And our methods are text mining and natural language processing algorithms, such as keyword extractions in order to extract skills. We will be using text embedding methods in order to vectorize the text. Then we will be using similarity functions in order to find the similarities between two documents, two different texts, and etc. So this way, we are going to find, let's say, the necessary skills for emerging job roles for, I don't know, a specific job role like data scientist or data analyst, and etc. What is it good for? It will be good for, if you look at number 6, it will be good for job seekers. Job seekers know exactly what types of skills they should have for a specific job role. Employers exactly know what types of skills should be in their job postings, and of course for educators and publications. Thank you everyone for listening. My name is Daniel. I'm a computer science PhD student at the University of Alcalá.
Hello everyone, my name is Sandra, and today I want to introduce you to a fascinating topic that combines different things: health, chemistry, and amino acids. Amino acids can be found in nature in two different forms, L and D, depending on the distribution of the atoms into the molecule. In living organisms, the L form is the most predominant one that we can find, but the D form nowadays is known to be linked to several diseases such as Alzheimer's, aging, or good microbiome. This highlights the importance of the study of amino acids from a chiral point of view in biomedical research, food safety, and pharmaceutical controls. In our work, we employ capillary electrophoresis technique to obtain the separation of analytes inside a tiny capillary under electric field, promoting a different migration of the analytes depending on the size and charge of these molecules. As we are talking about chiral molecules, they have the same atoms, so it's so difficult to separate them. We add, for that reason, chiral selectors into the background electrolyte to promote a different combination with the D and L forms inside the tiny capillary, and allowing us to see different migration times of the D and the L form of the enantiomers. In our work, we have developed several methods for the anti-separation of amino acids. One example is a Norvalin methodology that was applied for two different dietary supplements, verifying the quality and purity of them. On the other hand, we have developed a protocol for the tryptophan-related metabolite separation with the aim to employ it in urine samples to know new possible biomarkers. In that way, we want to show the importance of capillary electrophoresis as an analytical tool to obtain the separation of chiral compounds, amplifying the knowledge of these chiral chemistry molecules and applying it in different meaningful areas. Thanks for your attention.
Have you ever wondered whether there are any benefits connected to bilingualism? Well, as it happens, there are. But before moving on to this, I'm going to go ahead and talk about an ongoing issue in education, the achievement gap. This gap refers to the academic development of students from different socioeconomic levels, also known as SES. It has been observed that students from low SES begin primary school with a set of cognitive functions, also known as executive functions, less developed than those of their high SES counterparts. And this development also shows that this executive functions are are very important for academic success, and they are also developed during the younger ages of life. Now I'm going to ask you my second questions. Could we offer these low SES students a better future by giving them the opportunity to achieve academic success through the development of these executive functions due to the influence of bilingualism? And that is the focus of my study. To carry out my study, I worked with 49 students from year 3, 7, and 10 from a bilingual program, which offers part of its curriculum in English, and 2 primary and secondary schools in the community of Madrid. 3 cognitive tests were carried out to each student individually to develop, to study the 3 core executive functions: inhibition, cognitive flexibility, and working memory. This results have shown that bilingualism does have the potential to develop these executive functions, if not equally. In the case of working memory, this development was very pronounced, so it was very clear for students from low SES, much more so than in the counterparts. And this shows that bilingualism does have the potential to override the influence of a low SES environment in students from low SES, and in this particular executive function, which is crucial for academic achievement. However, in the case of inhibition and cognitive flexibility, results were not so clear. So, for instance, in the first case, there is a positive evolution for students of both SES levels, but it cannot be determined whether it's due to schooling, the development of the child, or the effects of bilingualism itself. In the same case, similarly, the effects of the third executive function did not show clear conclusions, but it did provide new hypotheses and also research questions that, due to their importance, will be further explored in future research. Now, it is very important to say that the future of our society is in the younger generations. So it is very important to be able to provide opportunities for all, notwithstanding socio-class or socioeconomic status. And that should be providing opportunities for all should be one of the main priorities of our society. Thank you very much.
Okay. Obesity is a major public health problem in Europe, as it has tripled during the recent decades. This is also subject to social inequalities, as it is the most vulnerable populations that have suffered from it the most, like the lower socioeconomic status groups. This is also related to the inequalities in sedentarism and physical activity. The determinants of physical activity are are several ones, and one of the most important is the built environment, which includes the access to different resources as green spaces and sport facilities. Green spaces provide an environment to carry out different types of physical activity and other physical and mental health benefits. On the other hand, sport facilities are designed to carry out moderate to vigorous physical activity, which will protect against cardiovascular diseases the most. The inequalities in access to these resources have been studied in several contexts, but only as case studies. With my thesis, I am working to measure the social inequalities in access to both resources in Europe, exactly in 10 European cities. First, to assess green spaces, we use the data from satellite sensing that helps to build a greenness index. This index gives us information about the availability of green spaces at the neighborhood level. Then, for sport facilities, we don't have this kind of index or database, so we need to analyze the secondary databases and validate them to be able to use them in the entire continent. Right now, I'm validating both Google Maps and OpenStreetMap databases to use them to assess the availability. Then, the last step is to assess the inequalities. So we have to consider that every country and every city will have different variables and indicators. So we have to screen them and use the right ones for every city. My work will help to map the inequalities in the access to physical activity environment in the entire Europe, and the results will also serve to inform interventions that seek to reduce obesity and sedentarism with an equity and environmental justice approach. Thank you very much.
Right, it's working. Good afternoon. 89% of Spanish secondary school students study English, yet less than 15% of Spanish people under 35 years of age can speak the language with any sort of fluency. It's great to see that many of them are here today. Spain spends hundreds of millions of euros on English, but the results are disappointing and unsatisfactory. One of the biggest problems is that you tend to study grammar and words. That's not how English works. Research has shown that around 50% of both spoken and written English is in the form of multi-word units, basically more or less fixed phrases. So I'm talking about expressions like make America great again, we have up there, or the Big Bang, or even PhD. So if native speakers tend to talk in phrases rather than words, how can we get students to do the same sort of thing? Obviously, it's completely unrealistic to expect people to learn tens of thousands of expressions in a foreign language. So what can we do? I study how English generates multi-word units and how these expressions are fixed in memory. So, for example, we have a situation where, I'm getting lost now. These expressions can be found in all sorts of areas of the language. So we have, they're very, very common in, for example, in politics, in marketing, and in religion also, as well as in proverbs and in similes. This is partly because English people feel that euphonic expressions, expressions which repeat sounds, are more truthful than other types of expressions. I've spent years collecting euphonic multi-word expressions. And in fact, I have a list of just under 40,000. So, the international language of science, the language that you have to do your presentations in today, is partially based on pretty sound effects that might entertain a 4-year-old.
Okay, hello everyone. Today I'd like to briefly introduce my research on gender discrimination in employment of Chinese women. My study based on CIPS data from 2014 to 2020. It focuses on impact of fertility policies on women's employment. We can see we have two focus on how fertility related factors like number of children and two-child policy affect women employment environment. I applied the D&D model and also heterogeneity and mediation effect analysis. We can see the graph on the right, 3 pictures, and we can clearly see a turning point at 2016. This year, we opened a two-child policy, and after that, we can see gap between men and women getting wider than before, especially in the salary income and the working hour. And for the men, their income continue improved after that period. And for the women, on the contrary, their salary and working income going to flight or going to worsen than before. Maybe because after giving birth for the baby, the woman will take a lot of time to take care of the babies. So my practical analysis have some findings. The first one is more children will leading mothers get lower job opportunities and security and income. And the two-child policy has a significant negative effect on women's work conditions, especially on working hours and salary income. I recommend for the government support, give more support for the women. Thank you.
Bueno, los dos últimos concursantes han quedado descalificados por exceder el tiempo. Es algo muy difícil, yo creo que está bien porque vamos cogiendo rodaje, ¿de acuerdo? Y seguro que en la siguiente somos capaces de ajustarnos mejor. Ahora es el momento de que actúe el jurado, se va a retirar y como en 15-20 minutos estará de vuelta para dar los resultados. Bien, ahora sí que he pulsado, así que esto funciona. Enhorabuena a todos. Como dije también en la fase en español, en la edición en español, es un concurso muy difícil, es muy complicado ponerte delante de la gente y contar algo que requiere tanto tiempo de tu vida en solo 3 minutos. Eso es muy complicado. Para los que habéis actuado ahora y el día anterior, se nota que el inglés da un poquito más de reparo y cogéis una velocidad que os sobra demasiado tiempo, ¿de acuerdo? Habéis estado todos en 2 minutos y medio. Eso sí que, especialmente para los que habéis ganado, que diré ahora quiénes sois, es bueno que lo tengáis en cuenta porque no es conveniente tampoco, si tenemos 3 minutos, estar 2 minutos y medio. No tenemos que agotarlos, pero tampoco dejarlos en vacío. En cualquier caso, enhorabuena a todos. Es un reto difícil. Lo habéis superado, a algunos se os ha ido el tiempo, pero lo habéis superado bien. Y en cualquier caso, los que no habéis ganado ahora y los que habéis ganado también, podéis concursar en las siguientes ediciones, el próximo curso académico. Y bueno, sin más, los ganadores han sido, en este caso las ganadoras, han sido Belén Llopis Pérez y María Teresa Agulló Baldo. Así que enhorabuena a todos. Y con esto damos por finalizado el concurso. Muchas gracias a todos.